is my 1986 C4 Corvette. I've had it for about 2 years now. When I got it, I had about 132,000 miles. It still pretty much has the same amount. I learned a lot in this car, but it's not the most reliable, especially if you have to drive more than 40 miles. With that being said, I recently put a rebuilt engine in here, and I want to sell it. There's a few quirks. For example, right now, I'm dealing with orange spark. Orange spark, and I put a cam in here, but the engine shakes a lot, almost like it's misfiring. I've checked, every single cylinder is firing, and timing is perfect. So, I'll show you what I got, I'll show you what I've been working on, and we'll go from there. So, as you can see, I already took apart the ignition coil. I have it on the workbench over there. I'll test it out. I'll show you what I got. As you can see, the results aren't 100% certain for some reasons that I'll show you. But let's get to that workbench and I'll show you what I got. Okay, you're going to have to excuse the rudimentary setup right now because I don't have a tripod yet. But I have this old Amazon multimeter. Continuity mode will almost always show that, unless you have an open circuit, as long as some metal is touching, it will beep, which means that you have a complete circuit. But that doesn't always matter. What matters more is how much resistance in that circuit you have, because it will determine the amount of power that you can get. And on these old GM systems, instead of having, like you would today, one ignition coil per cylinder, you have one ignition coil per 8. And so you really need this to output the amount of electricity that you need, or power. So this is the one that I got off the car. Don't know how old it is. Maybe that's, yeah, you know what? 1030 85 or 6. So this is probably the original HEI ignition coil that came from factory with this car. This car is about 40 years old now, so definitely time. Anyways, I'll show you the new one. It looks a bit different. But there are two things you want to test. First is the primary circuit, which means the tachometer and the battery are together. And you usually want to make sure that the circuit doesn't have more than, you usually want the resistance to be between about 0 and 1. So as we can see, right now it is between 0 and 1. So, technically that would be fine. But you have the spark tower, which this is the point of connection to the rest of the distributor that actually powers every single spark tower. So you have that, and then you have what's called the ring terminal, which is basically the secondary circuit. And this, usually you'll have to go to about 20K. It should be between like 7 and 9. Yeah, so 8.4, just keep in mind this is kilo ohms. So technically the testing on this has passed. This passed the testing, this should be okay to run. But these don't really fail in the same way. As you can see, you have all these layers of metal. And now I have this rust building up that, I can just show you, even on continuity mode. Sometimes if I put one probe like directly on the oxidation, it won't beep. Meanwhile, yeah, so obviously there's some disturbance with the rust. So I'll bring the new one out and I'll show you what I got. So I got this from O'Reilly. It wasn't the most expensive, it wasn't the cheapest. It was something that will work as a direct replacement. Again, some of these fail prematurely, but it's better than one that doesn't work at all. Currently, my issue with the car is that it will fire when cold. If you shut it down, it will crank and not start. And I checked that the spark color, it was orange, which means that the spark plugs aren't getting enough power or electricity to actually fire brighter, which would be blue. Anyways, why don't I test this just to make sure that we have a good unit. And then we'll put it in the car, see if it fixes the issue. Okay, so we'll start with the primary battery to Tach. Yeah, 0.4. So that is a very good sign. Put it on 20K and we'll see what we get for this. A lot higher. It's a lot higher than I would expect, but I don't know. Hopefully this, as I said, you can only really test a coil that is dead. Testing one that's partially failed, partially open, is a lot harder. And it's more of a subjective thing. So I'm going to toss this in the car. We'll see if it fixes it. I don't really know. So it's going to go like that. Then this, it goes in there. Okay, let's put the cap on it and we'll try and start her up. All right. So we're at 12.1 volts. Let's start her up, see what we got. That backfired. Let me see. I might have left a spark plug open or something. Oops. We'll forget that happened. I was testing here so late last night. Forgot to put her back. But I'll put her back and we'll start it again. Sounded promising though. For the love of God. So many of you might be wondering, Sar, when you sell this car, what are you going to get instead? I have an R1, but that's not really the most, commute friendly. Although I've done it a lot, so I can definitely tell you it's not fun. I want to get a C5. Yeah. Everyone wants C6s these days. Oh, C5 is where it's at. It's like a modern day equivalent of a C4. Except with a lot more electronics. So there's a lot more that can go wrong. But I really want a C5 manual, obviously. I actually don't know how to drive manual. This one's automatic. For some reason, a lot of the old day Corvettes were always made automatic. Maybe it's their, client base. But regardless, manual C5, Z06 would be nice. I don't know if I have that kind of money right now, but it's what I would like to get. That's plugged in, so let's give her a crank. Hopefully she starts right up. Also, I think there's a really loud exhaust leak on one side. I thought it was the injector because the TPI injectors are just really loud for no reason, but it wasn't that. Don't think it's the valve train because I have really good oil pressure and I've adjusted them like 5 times now. And it was making that sound even before the rebuild. So it might just be an exhaust leak. In fact, there's an EGR pipe down there. It's connected to the manifold just with a clamp. Which I think it's the most stupid thing ever. Bring the thunder! Okay. Alright, come on. Let me put a charge on that battery. Charging? Oh, I gotta plug it in. Hold on. Battery was dead. Guess that's what I get for getting the value. I just bought that one like 2 weeks ago too. But we'll let it charge for a little bit. I'll get back to it. We'll see if it fixes it. That'd be nice. We'll move on to the next thing. Finally driving it. Although it's so rainy right now that the entire inside of the car, all of these are shot. Probably just get wet. Okay. It's not 100% charged, but I'm done waiting. Let's see what we got this time. Come on. It's just eating away at the volts. I'm gonna do some research. I'll let the battery charge in the meantime. And I'll let you know what I find. So when you have voltage drop like that, typically what you will have is a bad ground. I already had to fix one there. I'm thinking it's the starter. So I went down and I looked right now and there's at least one clamp. I think it's a negative that should be connected to something and it isn't. So I'm gonna raise the car up so I can get some room in there to film and I'll show you what I got. We'll try and fix it. See that cable right there? It's hard to see from this angle. That's a ring terminal, which means theoretically it could be a ground, and it's unplugged, not even screwed in. So we could just have like a really weak ground, and it grounds to 2 places. I don't know, but I'm gonna look at the manual, the service manual, look at the wiring diagram, and I'll try and figure it out. Oh man, this starter's big. Man, that was not fun. It just landed on my chin. Pretty much. I don't know if you can see the lettering, but this is usually power, that's secondary power, but I don't know where the other wire goes to. So I guess I gotta look on the interweb and try and figure it out, because right now it's not like screaming out at me. But I'll look it up, we'll see. It's times like these I wish I had a lift. I just got some dirt in my eye.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Okay, so I'm looking in there and I still can't find the wherever this ground is supposed to go to. I'm assuming it's a ground. I'm gonna look some more. I don't know. I've looked through the entire interweb history and I can't find a single picture of what it looks like when it's in and wired. I mean, granted, the location doesn't really allow for that, but it's still this wire that I just don't know where it goes through. Maybe I took a picture when I tore it out. I don't know. Oh, look. I have been looking for the location for this for so long that I'm going to test for continuity just to make sure that this even matters and it's not just like a location bracket. Because I can't find the location of this thing, and it's we got a lot of dirt in my eye right now.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I just checked. I don't think that this is actually part of the wire. I mean, I'm not getting continuity reading from it. I don't know. I think the starter still works. Maybe this is just a bracket. I mean, it's gotta be at this point. I guess I'll just bolt it in again. I don't know what the issue is. I really don't. The starter grounds to the block. So before I put it in, I'm gonna scratch this off a little bit more. Make sure that that's not interfering at all. Okay, looks a little better. Let's put that starter in now. You might be wondering, hey, Sarah, did you at least fix it? Nope, probably not. But hopefully I didn't just break it more. Great. What is the third? Fourth time? Fourth time's a charm. Come on, come on. Okay, before I just start throwing the parts cannon at it, I'm gonna check resistance from power to the power of the starter and from negative to the case of the starter. And we'll see what I get. If it's normal, which probably will be. I don't know. Feels like I'm chasing ghosts at this point. But I'll let you know. Okay, so I just checked all of my resistance values from the battery to the starter, power to the red lug nut, and negative to the hard case. Everything there is fine. So another thing here that technically should have been a diagnostic is coming back positive, and it's still not barking off. There's still something limiting here, and I don't know what it is. So drive me crazy, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna find what it is. We're gonna fix it. Just gonna have to do some more research because right now I'm like intellectually bankrupt. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Amount that I knew, I applied and it did not work. So we'll get back here in a second, see what we got. At this point, I was going back and forth. So I initially just landed back to what started today, which is pretty much the ignition module. This is the old one, but same thing. Confirm that the wires were in the correct place because that's important. How stupid would it be if I just plugged them in wrong? Let me confirm. Someone's gonna laugh at me in the comments, but I did confirm and the routing is correct for the coil. What I did next is I wanted to confirm that the ignition module itself isn't broken, because I mean, you have to think, if the ignition coil is the one from 40 years ago, then the ignition module probably is as well. And if one is failing, the other one might have also been failing, which sounds so stupid, but that's the way things are, especially in a 40-year-old car. Anyways, the way that you can test it apparently is you disconnect the tachometer lead. Hold on. So like I said, so you disconnect this wire, and if it then runs without the RPM signal, then you know that the module is bad, because the module basically takes the RPM signal and it tells the ECM how much spark to let out. And if it gets disrupted, something's not working, then you can pretty much bypass it by just having it disconnected. But you're not supposed to run it like that for obvious reasons. I mean, you don't want to like go above the rev limiter. I don't really know what else would happen. So I'm reading. What I can do now is, because I have a Tach filter, which pretty much reduces the noise in the signal. Because the way that it works, it just takes the revolutions of the engine, and you can have some noise from resistance in that signal. So they have a filter. I don't know. This is 40 years old technology. Honestly, I could just stick a Holley Dominator in here, whatever, Terminator, if I had all the money in the world, but I don't. And, you know, just LS swap it. But anyways, I'm going to try disconnecting that Tach filter, seeing if it makes any difference. If it does, then it's the Tach filter apparently. If it isn't, then it's the ignition module. I hope is inexpensive. I don't know. I haven't even looked. So to show you actually on the car, so this is the Tach. I don't know if you can see that. That's a Tach. So that's this brown connector goes in there like that. And basically just the like original one, you know, from the old day, like Chevy SBC 350s basically would come from down there. And so it's the same connector. They just took and ran the female port into this Tach filter, which is that, and then had another wire basically just extend the whole thing up. So I can actually test because that one won't reach if you disconnect it. So I'm going to hope that it's the ignition module. I'm going to do some more research, make sure that there's no other tests that I can do, and then bite the bullet, I guess. It really sucks. But as long as I can fix it, you know? Something cool about this car is that's from factory. It's the part number that they put on the hood 40 years ago. It's still here. And obviously, you know, you have the Bowling Green, Kentucky. But yeah, so I'm gonna double check, make sure there's no other tests that I could do, and then order the part, I guess. Hopefully it's not too late. Again, I apologize for the setup, but according to the forum, which is pretty much the only thing I have right now, this is, so, okay, I should start. This is the filter, Tach filter, whatever. I'm supposed to get something like 10,000 ohms of resistance end to end. So I'll check that real quick, and we'll see what we get. One thing I should add, if this is dead, the Tach won't work. And I would assume that messes with the ignition system somehow. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know how, because I do not, fortunately. Hello? Did this die? Oh, where's the screw? This is how my day's going, by the way. Oh. Well, don't you just get, you, well. Alright, so I have it at 20K. We should be looking at some sort of something. 15.47. So it's definitely not what it should be. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to be really stupid and cut it here. Basically just remove this. So cut it. Connect these two right here. Hey, if it doesn't fix it, then I don't know what will at this point. But we'll run it like that, because honestly, I don't even have the stock radio anymore. I've read that you can, I mean, the Tach itself has additional filtering on its endpoint, so it won't be damaged. A lot of the cars pre-80s have no Tach filter, and it's not an issue. Not the best, but it should do. So let's try it out. Okay, that's plugged in. Let's see what we got. Did not fix the issue. I think what I'm going to do at this point is I have the battery unplugged. I'm going to let the ECM clear all the codes for about 10 minutes. I'm going to start it in flooded mode, which basically you just hold the throttle down, crank it for a few seconds, and then try and start it normally. And maybe that will just fix it. Maybe I flooded the engine. I don't know anymore. But you guys were along for the journey. Thank you. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. It's my first video. It's going very well. Okay, so I'm going to clear the flood. Be on for 2 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Turn it off. Foot to the floor, 100% throttle. Hold it there. Crank the engine for 6 to 8 seconds max. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9. Okay, alright. I'm gonna check the plug, see if it's wet. Okay, we got some. It's not good. Okay, pressure's good. It's idling. I can't even narrow it down to a single thing that I did. I just put the plug back in. Oh, the ESC was disconnected, but that was it. Okay, I'll let it idle, let you guys know. I don't know if you can see. It doesn't look like smoke. It might just be condensation or the fuel burning off. We'll see if it dissipates. Yeah, I think it's just condensation. I probably shouldn't be breathing this, but it doesn't smell like oil, burnt oil. Like, I know what that smells like. This is what it smells like. I'll try and start it once it's at the operating temp. We'll do the IAC relearn and see where we go from there. 40 pounds of oil pressure right now, 187 operating temp. I mean, I probably shouldn't have, but I stuck my entire face in there and it smells like a hot shower. I'm like 90% sure that's just water. There's that clacking, but I could swear to you, it's not coming from the valve train. So I'm just not gonna pay mind to it right now. I'm waiting for the fan to cycle. Then we'll turn it off and we'll turn it on again. Okay, so it won't start after I turned it off hot. But just take a look at that injector. Let me know what you think. Very weak, I would say. So we're back to ignition, and that means that I probably have to get another part. I'm thinking the ignition control module is still the issue, but I mean, it's still idled. It did its thing for a little bit, but let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any like advice, definitely let me know. As you can tell, I'm not a like certified mechanic. I'm just doing my thing, trying to understand it as I go through it. So yeah, if you guys have experience with these cars or just HEI, you know, GMs in general, let me know. Well, don't worry, I could not leave you hanging. I noticed that the check engine light was on during the idle. So I went and I got the two jumpers on there to scan the OBD1 port. Code 46, which is VATS. I have the original key. I've not checked the resistance of it, but that's where I'm at right now. So I'm doing some more research. I'm going to figure this out today. It looks like it's still the ignition module. All right, it's day 2. Driving right now to get the ignition module. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I got the backside of the ICM module location cleaned up. We'll grease it up. I'll put the ignition module in and we'll patch everything up and we'll see if it starts. So we're all set up there. Okay, I'll let it warm up. We'll see what it does. So it ran pretty good. Idle was shifting between 6 and 7,000 RPM, or sorry, 100 RPM. It's about 194. So I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds and I'm gonna try and start it. Honestly, I don't know. This thing keeps happening and I feel like it might happen again, but we'll see. I'll tell you what I've been doing in the past hour. So I chased down the broken clip. I wanted to make sure that the distributor was getting 100% the power that it should without any resistance, and it is. The spark that I'm getting after looking at some videos isn't crazy. It might be crazy for today's standards, but again, this car is 40 years old, so as long as I got some kind of spark, it should fire. And during idle, I don't know if you can hear it, but it is missing, at least on one cylinder. Heats up, it will start shifting the RPMs between 6 and 700. And I went ahead, I obviously have checked my fuel pressure right now, and I have about 40 with the key on. It goes down with the key cranking it, but I think that the injectors are, I don't know. I think that they're bad. I don't know if they're stuck technically. I was watching a video of this guy diagnosing the exact same issue. He had some fancier tools than I did to actually check each individual injector. With that being said, same symptoms exactly. Think the injectors are bum. I even got some starter fluid, put it through the breather hose like the guy does on the video, and it ran for like 2 seconds. Much better than it is when it's cranking hot. You know, it feels bad. I dumped money into the ignition without actually having to do it per se, but it's something that I can at least write up to increase the value of the car when I sell it, if I want to sell it. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to do some more research. I'll try and find some solid injectors, see how much they cost. I know it's going to hurt the bank, but as long as it fixes this issue, we can finally get it driving next week, I'll be happy. Thank you for watching. I know it's not necessarily problem fixed, but I'm pretty sure we've diagnosed it. It was chasing some, fireflies, chasing some issues that I've had separate of the heat soak. But again, it's something that I am pretty sure that we have figured out. Tune back to next week. I'll get the injectors. We'll put them in. Hopefully that fixes the issue. Thank you for watching.